October 7, 2024. The rain fell heavily on the city, making it seem like the sky was mourning.
X Films Podcasts. Red Hand. A Murder Mystery. I'm Subhan Amin.
Colder, something more unsettling. Paul Richards was just 11 years old, an orphan, living in a mansion that was too big for a kid his age. 6 months ago, his parents had tragically died in a car accident, leaving a massive fortune entirely in his name. He was the only heir. But being a kid, Paul couldn't handle that money directly. Guardianship papers were still in the works. Until that got sorted out, the money was just sitting there, untouched. Safe, or so everyone thought. That night, at 10:31 p.m., Paul was in his bedroom with music playing, same song on repeat. Maybe it was a favorite of his, or maybe it just calmed him down. Who knows? Then there was a sound, faint and metallic, coming from somewhere deeper in the house. He pulled out his earbuds, sat up, and listened. Silence. Then, another noise, louder this time, something scraping across the floor. Fear washed over Paul, and he did what any kid might do. He looked for something to defend himself. A weapon. All he could find. His tennis racket. Sounds silly, right? But when you're 11 and terrified, anything feels like it could protect you. He stepped into the hallway. Long, dark, and silent. He moved cautiously, racket shaking in his grip. And then, something came at him. Fast. He swung wildly, the racket connecting with something hard. There was a grunt, then a body crumpled to the ground. And Paul froze. He looked up, and what he felt shifted from fear to something worse, recognition.
Oh, God, you're here.
Those were his last words. Because right after that, Paul Richards disappeared. 20 minutes later, they found his body in the alley behind the house. Lying there, almost like he'd been gently placed. Eyes open, mouth slightly ajar, expression frozen in terror. Dead. No bruises. No cuts. No blood. Nothing. And beside him, smeared on the brick wall, was a small red handprint. Child-sized, but not his. This wasn't random. It wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a message. I was the one who got the call that morning, the one who stood over that boy's
Henry
body.
Harris, in this case, it hits home for me.
Body showed no signs of trauma. No clear explanation for how or why he died. The medical examiner's report included a term I'd never come across before, psychogenic death. Death by fear. I spoke with Dr. Lena Osborne, the forensic examiner on the case. Her words still ring in my ears.
It's rare. Very rare. But it's real. When someone experiences overwhelming terror, their body can shut down. Heart failure without a physical cause. The mind brings the body to a halt.
Words still ring in my ears. I asked her if she'd ever seen anything like this before. Not in someone that young. Not in a child. So, I began to dig deeper. 6 months after his parents' death, Paul inherited a fortune. But when I investigated the family's finances, I stumbled upon something odd. 2 days before he died, a document was filed. A legal transfer of financial control, signed by Paul himself. And that document, it gave control of all of Paul's wealth to his uncle, a man named Thomas Grayson. But here's the catch. Thomas Grayson was supposed to be dead. He'd faked his own death 12 years ago as part of an insurance scam, disappearing without a trace. Until now, suddenly, Thomas wasn't just alive, he was in control of millions, all thanks to a child's signature. I checked the document, and sure enough, the signature matched. It looked like Paul's handwriting. But there was no lawyer present, no guardian either. Which meant Paul had signed it under pressure. Or worse, someone forced him to. A neighbor, Ms. Janice Keller, told me something that still gives me chills. Did Grayson's people have the house under surveillance? Were they lurking long before that fateful night? I still don't have those answers. Then came an anonymous tip. A name whispered, Detective Grant Hughes. 30 years on the force. Trusted, respected, but drowning in debt. When we raided his farmhouse, we found forged documents, surveillance photos of Paul, and Hughes himself. He cracked fast. He spilled everything. Grayson had found him, paid him. Hughes was supposed to locate Paul, bring him in, and force him to sign the document. He thought it was just a financial scam. He swore he didn't know Grayson planned to kill the boy. But I wasn't convinced. Hughes told me the moment that changed everything was when Paul recognized his uncle. Hughes claimed he wasn't there when the boy died. He handed Paul over, took his uncle but his uncle. He took the money, and vanished. Hughes is in prison now. But Grayson, he slipped away. I managed to get a recording of Hughes's confession. His voice was shaking, worn out with guilt. And the
I
boy.
didn't want the kid hurt. God, I didn't. I thought he'd just vanish, like Grayson said. But when I saw that red handprint on the news, I knew. I knew he was dead. And it was my fault.
Paul Richards didn't die from a weapon. Didn't die from poison or injuries. He died from fear. His heart failed him, at just 11 years old. That kind of thing isn't supposed to happen. Grayson disappeared without a trace. The fortune was drained in days. Offshore accounts, money trails leading nowhere. And that red handprint, still haunting, blood mixed with synthetic paint. A stain that couldn't be wiped away. Some say Paul left that mark. Others claim it was Grayson. But for me, I think it was something else entirely. I believe that handprint was marked by the moment itself. A moment filled with fear. And fear leaves its traces. I still go back to that alley sometimes, just to stand there. Each time, I remember those last words from an 11-year-old boy. 6 months after Paul's death, a new message appeared. 4 words. Spray painted on the wall behind our police station. Same red paint, same synthetic texture. The red hand returns. We reviewed every camera, every angle, every second of footage. Nothing. 2 days later, the message vanished. Scrubbed clean. No trace left behind. Some think it was Grayson. Others suspect it's someone new, someone carrying on the legacy. Someone finishing what Grayson started. I spoke to Officer Darren Wells, the first to spot the message. He said, it wasn't just paint. It looked wet, like it had just been written when I found it. I swear I could smell blood. Theories, fear, rumors. The truth, I don't know, but I've been pondering fear a lot lately. Fear can kill. I've witnessed it, but maybe fear can do more. Maybe it can move, grow, take shape and kill. I don't know who left that red handprint. But I do know one thing. The red hand isn't finished.
I'm Subhan Amin, and this was Red Hand, a murder mystery. Maybe this isn't just a story of a boy who died from fear. Maybe it's a tale of what fear can ultimately become. Until next time, cut.